Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Danielle, aka Stitcherista here on YouTube, and today is going to be me finishing the Hocus Pocus Coffee piece into a scrapbook layout. Now, I learned a couple things when I was doing this, and I'll try to explain as I go through, but first I need to cut off the excess fabric, and for this one I decided to use 1.5 inches around the outside, which seemed to be a good margin. I always like to have a bunch of fabric because I can always cut it off, you know what I mean? But yeah, I learned one thing, that when I do extensive back stitch like this has, instead of trying to do long stitches, I need to do every little stitch. Do you know what I mean? Because once I put it down, some of the back stitch is baggy, if that makes sense. And I'm like, well, that was a learning lesson, because there's a lot of back stitch in this. The whole border and the web is back stitched. But yeah, I'm just using my rotary cutter, my little ruler that has a lip on it, and my cutting board. And I have all this stuff linked in the description box. I had it linked when I did the last video too. But yeah, I really liked stitching this piece. I also think the next time I stitch a piece on even weave like this, like Joblin, and I do it, I'm gonna put quilt batting behind it maybe and see how it looks a little bit puffy. Excuse me. And you also have to be careful carrying back stitch, because once I got this all on the sticky board, which you'll see, you probably won't be able to tell in the picture, but I can see on the very bottom where I carried the back stitch, and I'm like, damn it, somebody looking at it probably wouldn't notice. So this is the self-stick mounting board that I use. I got it from Amazon. I'll have it linked down below. And now I'm just trying to figure out how big I need to cut the board. So I need to measure the stitched piece. And I actually wind up measuring it twice, because I measured it and I was like, huh? And then I decided to measure twice, cut once, right? Yeah. Yeah, you absolutely want to make sure you are measuring correctly, because once you cut this, it's cut. Still have a little bit of a cough from being sick for 2 weeks. Yeah, see here, I'm measuring it again. I'm like, okay, let me measure that one more time just to make sure I know what I'm doing here. And now I'm going to take a Sharpie and just make a little mark so I know where I need to cut. Yeah, I have, like, you can't see, but there's like baskets on the other side of my table where I have, and I measured wrong the first time, so that's why there's 2 lines. I have like my rotary cutter, a tape measure, Sharpie. I have all kinds of stuff in there. Stuff for finishing, really. And I keep a box cutter there because when I open up like that box cutter right there with Amazon packages and stuff, I use that. So I will usually go over it 2 or 3 times, because the board is not thick, but it's thick enough that I usually can't do it in one pass. Do you know what I mean? And now I need to cut the other side. And yeah, I really like that roller. It has a lip on it, which keeps it straight. Because you can't see, because the board, the top of the board is off frame, but there's like an opening, and so I'm able to put that lip right on that opening and keep it steady. And I realized the board moved a little bit there, but not a big deal. It still wound up being pretty straight. I also might try in the future, I ordered some pom-pom trim from Lindy Stitches. I might use some pom-pom trim around the outside next time because that would definitely hide the edge. I'm trying to think how I'm going to get that pom-pom trim on there. I'm guessing I would have to tape it to the back if that would work. I've never used that pom-pom trim before. So we'll see. So now, remember, it's double-sided. Well, the sticky board has adhesive on the back, so you need to peel. And I had trouble finding a corner to peel. It like no corner was going to come up, and I'm like, what the hell right now? See how I'm having trouble? Yeah. I do finally get it though, but I think on this corner I finally get it. And then I always flip the piece upside down and then stick the board that way. It's better than trying to line it up on the other side. So now I need to like smooth it down, and so see how the back stitch like moves because I didn't do each individual stitch. Yeah, that's the only thing that I kind of regret with this piece. But like I said, even though I've been stitching for, what, 35 years, something crazy like that, I'm always learning. Absolutely. So now I need to use my stitchery tape. And I forgot that I have those adhesive dots that I bought from Top Knot Stitcher's website. Next time I'm going to use those because they would have been quicker than using this tape. Even though this tape, it works very, very well. So I just need to put the tape down. And I try not to have the tape overlapping only because I just don't like it overlapping. You want to have it flush with the edge if you can. But yeah, you can get this tape. I got mine from 123 Stitch. And I think I linked it from Amazon because they sell it too. Because I've gone through an entire roll of this, especially when I framed my Mirabilias, because a bunch of those I had done myself. And one, I did Fairy Moon, and my dad actually has that one. And I did Tatiana also, and he has that one too. So there will be a point in time in the future where I will get those back. But yeah, I framed those and myself, and you got to stretch the fabric and all that good stuff. But yeah, so this is double-sided. So now I'm trying to peel off the top layer so you can, stick it down. Now I'm going to be mitering the corners again, and it's easier on even weave because the fabric isn't as stiff as Aida. And I have that step pretty much down pat. Like I pretty much can do that really well. And I think next time I might even try to trim some of that excess fabric. There are people that will trim that corner a little bit and make it so it's not as much fabric. I'll have to try that next time. What I need to do is try it like on a scrap piece before I mess up a stitched piece because I would be mad. Yeah, I'll have to try that. I'll have to play around with it. I need to get some more mat board because that was the last piece that I used. But yeah, I just pull the fabric, and there was like lint everywhere. But I pull it and stretch it. And just tape it down, all four sides. And I mean, this is the same thing that you could do if you were going to frame this piece. Like, I wouldn't be mitering the corners if I was going to frame it. I would just put it in a frame because the frame is going to hide that lip, the edges. And so now I'm trying to just smooth the fabric down because it was a little wrinkly, even though I had ironed it before I did this. And see, there's like lint. I'm like, where the hell did that come from? But yeah, I wind up getting my roller out. But if I had used quilt batting, I wouldn't have this issue. But the piece turned out really good. I still think it looks really good. In my opinion, doing a scrapbook layout, it's a very creative way of finishing a cross stitch piece. When you don't have wall space, because I don't have any wall space anymore. I would have to start like pulling projects down and putting them away and you know, going through a rotation to put up any more projects. If I ever do another big one again and I have to frame it, I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with it? Yeah. So now comes the mitering of the corners. And I pick 3864 DMC. I try to pick a DMC thread that is very similar in color to the fabric. So 3864 pretty much matched it. It matched it pretty well. But yeah, I'm just trying to thread my needle here. And what I'll do is I will show the first one up close, and then I will speed it up for the other three corners. So I don't start all the way at the bottom. You don't need to start all the way at the bottom. And I just do like a slip knot there, like the loop method you would for the back of your work if you were stitching. And then I just do like a whip stitch, that's all. And I pull it as tight as I can when I get it up there, because you're trying to pull that fabric tight so at the top it is a tight corner. And I'm pretty sure this is how Vanna, the Twisted Stitcher, when she does finishing, how she does it too. When she is putting, you know, like doing a flat fold or something like that. I watched a video on how to do this, and then I practiced and I practiced and I practiced some more. I practiced a lot on how to do this because in the beginning, trying to get it down, and sometimes I even still have some trouble, especially here at the end, when you're really trying to get that corner tight. I will then go in from the top and try to just pierce that fabric. And I'm sorry it didn't focus, yeah. Just try to pierce that and push it in so that corner is as tight as you can get it. And I mean, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty tight, yeah. So I will speed up the other three corners. So okay, so now we have all of the corners mitered and it's ready. The scrapbook layout is ready to come together. That is the most tedious part, is getting the piece on mat board or whatever you're doing. And so I picked a very simple layout. I'm trying to use papers I already have instead of spending more money. So this one's going to be very, very basic. This is going to be the base paper, and it's Simple Stories Say Cheese Halloween, I think is the layout. But you always have to cut the border of the paper off. And there, I got it so you guys can actually see the whole thing. But yeah, I like this little Fiskars paper cutter. Works really good. And there's replaceable blades on it, so which is even better. I'd already kind of laid this out. I decided I wanted those two papers, and so here I'm deciding which should go on the top and which should go on the bottom. Now, sometimes I will even, and I just didn't have any black felt, I will sometimes put black felt behind the stitched piece, but I really like these decorative papers and thought I'm just going to leave it like that. So now I need to cut the paper to the right size, and I eyeball it. I don't measure anything. You can see I take the stitched piece and just kind of eyeball how I think I want it, and then I'll start cutting. And I always have like the biggest pile of trash on the floor when I'm done these, because I don't really, I mean, you could save all of that scrap paper, but I don't. I normally don't, because I have so much scrapbook paper that I don't need to use the same paper twice. Do you know what I mean? I'd even consider doing that side, but I was like, nah, I'm going to do the black dotted side. Because then I really liked the orange paper with the bats on it. And I decided to cut a tiny bit more off. And then voila, I'm satisfied with that. So then I got to cut the orange paper. I love that orange paper. Whoever designs these scrapbook papers, they do such a fantastic job on it. Some of these papers and stickers are just so cool. And again, I'm just trying to trim the excess so then I can really then finagle the finite measurement I want. And I wanted a little bit of a lip around this because I really like that paper, so I wanted to be able to see it. And that looks pretty good. Yeah, I like that. That looks cute, doesn't it? So now I got to get adhesive on the back of everything, and you'll see that's where I'm going to put it, because I wanted the tombstones like to show at the bottom. I was going to hide them, and then I'm like, no, I like it. So I decided to do it that way so you guys could see it too. So now I'm going to use my Xyron Creative Station to put adhesive on the back of the orange paper and then the black dotted paper. In this Creative Station, it is so easy to use. All you do is just pull that handle, and there's a paper cutter on the back. And I mean, it seriously cannot be any easier than it is. It was worth, I don't know, I want to say I paid 75 bucks, 80 bucks, well worth it. Absolutely worth it. And I just got a new cartridge in the mail for it, just so I would have, because now I'm doing like scrapbook layouts. So now I'm gonna, you peel off the top layer, which is actually really sticky underneath. And then when you peel off whatever it is you ran through there, it has made it essentially into a sticker. There's adhesive all over the back of that. So be careful when you go to stick it down, because it's not coming up. I have the permanent adhesive, so that's where I want it. And I just stick it down and smooth it. It's much nicer than trying to use scrapbook glue, although I have used glue in the past. And the same thing, you just peel off the top layer. and then peel off the paper. So I'm trying to really eyeball it so it's straight. And now I need to put adhesive on the back of the stitched piece. So I'm going to use my stitchery tape again, and I'm really going to try to get every inch of that. And you'll see when I put down the 3 pieces that I put down, I decided to put a 4th piece down. So what I have to do is I have to remove the paper from the 3rd piece, so then I can, basically I'm going to be sticking adhesive on adhesive, just so I can get it all the way to the edge, and you'll see what I mean here in a second. But yeah, this tape is, I love it. It's really, really nice tape. You can see a big hunk of my hair as I get, and I realized that one of my hairs got on this on the back. Nobody's gonna see that. My DNA is on it, right? And because there are words in the stitched piece, I normally do not put words in the scrapbook layout. I try not to, and I didn't for this one. Okay, so see how there's still like a part of the fabric that's uncovered? So I decide I need to pull the protective tape or protective cover off of the tape here, because I'm gonna put another piece over that edge, and it's going to overlap that other piece of adhesive a little bit. But this way, the whole thing is literally covered. And now it's just peeling off the back papers. And then we get to the fun part. See, the fun part for me is putting like the stickers and stuff on it. It's not putting the stitched piece on. It's putting the stickers and the glitter and all that on there. And obviously some of my layouts for me have turned out better than others, and we're always our own worst critics, right? I'm sure everyone's gonna think this looks great, but I'm like, ugh, the back stitch. And you can see, if you look at the very bottom right corner, you can see like a line, and that's where I carried the back stitch on the back of it. And I'm like, I was such a dodo. I should have never did that. But that's okay. It's too late now. It's on there. It's not going anywhere now, so. But I'm still trying to like smooth out the fabric. It did turn out cute. Now I get to put, and I'm looking at the edge to see if it's really stuck down. Some people, when I used glue, I used to actually put a book on it and leave heavy books on it overnight because it would really flatten it. But now the stickers, and so I'm going to use this sticker sheet that came with this. And I really like that girl. And these are thick chipboard stickers. You can see I'm having trouble getting it off of there. I finally realized that I needed to pull the entire sheet off the back and then punch the stickers out, sort of. Do you know what I mean? And then I had also decided I knew I wanted to put the bat and the moon and the stars up in the sky. So there's the bat. And you'll see I really don't put any more stickers but the moon and the stars, because that's the fine line with doing a scrapbook layout, and I'm having trouble here, as you can see. You don't want to have too many embellishments. You know what I mean? It'll be way too busy. And yeah, I'm really struggling here. And I'm probably cussing, I don't remember. But then I decide to pull. Do I get that star out of there? No. I decide to pull the sticker sheet off the back. And then you can just punch out the cardboard pieces, and that one fell out, and I know I won't use it, so I just stuck it there. So now I'm just going to go through and punch out some of the stars, because some of the stars were glittery. I really had wanted to use like the glitter 31. I just didn't know where it would have looked right. But I think I have this stickers sheet like to use for another layout, so it'll get used again. They have just such cool stickers on there. And I changed my mind, like I put down this black moon, but then I see one that is silver glitter and I decide I want to use that one. And I peel it up. Because if it hasn't been on there that long, you can, like there's the silver moon, you can peel it up. You have to be really careful though. And luckily I am able to get this one up without too much fanfare. And then I'm able to stick. I love glitter. If I have a choice of using matte or glitter, I'm going to use glitter, please. Have you met me? And then I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm like, what else can I put on there? So I'm pretty sure I decide to use the rest of, I was going to put the owl on there and I decided not to. You're going to see me pick it out or punch it out. I was going to put it on top of the house. And then I was like, I probably could have left it there. I decided not to. So I do decide to use that teal colored star right there. And yeah, I'm looking because I was undecided what to use. And I just realized by looking at the paper, behind the girl is a moon and some bats. But that's okay. You can do what you want on your scrapbook paper. It doesn't matter. There are people that will even write on their scrapbook paper. I know. I think I did that on one scrapbook layout when I did a book one that I did. I'll have to do a video where I show all of my scrapbook layouts that I've done with pictures because I've done quite a bit and they turned out really good. But yeah, I just go through here and I punch out the rest of the stars, and I think do I do one more? No, that's it. So that is the final product. I think it turned out really cute. Yeah, see, I wanted to use that potion bottle, but I try to also make the layout make sense. And that just didn't make sense. So that is the final product, like I said, and I decided, okay, I'm done with the stickers. So, as always, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section below, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.